The campus queen knocked over a bottle of concentrated sulfuric acid during a lab experiment. I immediately stripped her clothes off and doused her with water to wash the chemicals away, saving her from severe burns. But a month later, photos of her half-naked body flooded the internet. In a desperate live stream from the edge of a bridge, she sobbed, "It's all that lab teacher's fault. She stripped me in front of everyone and ruined my life. Now that everyone has seen my body, my innocence is gone." Overnight, the internet rallied behind her. Not only were her photos scrubbed clean, but she also used the sympathy to launch her celebrity career. I, on the other hand, was branded a pervert and suspended by the university. Even my fiancé said I was unfit to be a teacher and broke up with me. In despair, I swallowed a lethal dose of chemicals from the lab. It wasn't until after I died that I learned the truth. She had leaked those photos herself. Years earlier, she had been involved in group sex parties and had a stash of explicit photos floating around. She used the lab incident to muddy the waters, claiming the old photos were from the leak, just so she could whitewash her past and become a star. When I opened my eyes, I found myself back on the day she spilled the sulfuric acid. "Sorry, you can't go in." I blocked the doorway, stopping Tiffany right as she tried to enter the lab. She looked at me bewildered, her innocent doe eyes wide. "Professor Sarah, why? Isn't today the lab exam? I'm enrolled in your class, I need to do the experiment." Not only was Tiffany confused, but the other students in the room froze too. Tiffany was the undisputed campus queen. With her pure, sweet looks, she'd already amassed a huge following on social media. She was currently filming a talent reality show, and rumor had it she was about to debut in a girl group. I let out a cold laugh. "Oh, so you know you're enrolled in my class?" I stated clearly in the first lecture. "Miss more than 5 classes, and you're automatically dropped." "And you? You've missed 10 straight classes." Tiffany's tears fell instantly. "I didn't mean to. I just had so many filming schedules. I couldn't cancel them. I thought if I worked hard out there, I could bring glory to the school." Seeing her pitiful act, the other students immediately jumped to her defense. "Professor Sarah, Tiffany is just trying to win honor for the university. If you kick a student out just for that, isn't it a bit heartless?" I smiled. "Bringing glory to the school? You actually believe a sob story from an influencer? When she's making thousands of dollars a day, does she share a single cent with you? Our university has stood for 130 years relying on scientific research, not the honor brought by some influencer. According to the rules, you are no longer a student in this class. Get out." I slammed the door in her face, locking her out in the hallway. The classroom erupted. "Professor Sarah is so cruel." I smirked. "I'm cruel? Tiffany didn't even have a heart to begin with. It happened exactly like this in my past life. Since she never attended class, she had no idea how to handle the equipment. The moment she started, she clumsily splashed sulfuric acid on herself like it was tap water. I had rushed to kick all the male students out, stripped off her clothes, and rinsed her with gallons of water, saving her skin. Who could have guessed? A week later, photos of Tiffany being stripped by me were all over the internet. Eventually, explicit photos of her with multiple men started circulating, too. Tiffany panicked and started a live stream, threatening to jump off a bridge to prove her innocence. She stood in front of the camera, crying her heart out. The lab teacher didn't follow privacy protocols, and that's why my photos leaked. I can't believe people are using AI to fake photos of me with strange men. No one believes me now. Everyone is throwing dirt on my name. I have no way to defend myself. Only death can prove my innocence." Then she jumped. Even though she was fished out immediately, the entire internet turned its rage on me. What kind of trash teacher can't even manage sulfuric acid? Isn't that a teaching violation? Fire her. Is acid really that serious? Did she really need to strip a female student? Maybe the teacher was jealous of Tiffany's beauty and wanted to humiliate her. I was stunned. I tried to defend myself. If concentrated sulfuric acid touches the skin, you have to wash it with massive amounts of water immediately. Otherwise, it causes disfigurement or even death. But when the school investigated, they tested the acid Tiffany had used. The concentration was extremely low. It wasn't strong enough to burn skin at all. I was dumbfounded. How was that possible? The lab stock is 98% concentrated sulfuric acid. One drop can kill. But no one believed me. Tiffany's fans bombarded me with every slur imaginable, convinced I had stripped her on purpose to ruin her. The school caved to the pressure and fired me. And my fiancé, Julian, didn't say a word in my defense. Instead, he called me a disgrace to the profession and called off the engagement. In my despair, I couldn't take it anymore. I swallowed the most toxic substance in the lab. Maybe Tiffany was right. Only death could prove innocence. But I never expected that after I died, my spirit would see Tiffany and her agent, Mac, celebrating with champagne. Mac, that plan was genius. I pretended to spill the acid, and the moment someone stripped me to save me, we posted the photos online. Then we muddied the waters by mixing in my old sex tapes, played the victim, riled up the fans, blamed it all on AI deepfakes, and boom, my image is scrubbed clean. You're brilliant, Mac. Mac laughed. The key was you having the brains to seduce that Professor Julian. Getting the lab key from him was the only way we could switch the concentrated acid for the diluted stuff beforehand. No wonder. Only Julian and I had keys to that prep room. I had wondered how concentrated acid turned into weak acid. Turns out Julian had been sleeping with Tiffany behind my back the whole time. He gave her the key. As a wandering spirit, I couldn't do anything. I could only watch as Tiffany successfully rehabilitated her image, gained millions of fans, and debuted as a star. She even openly dated Julian after graduation. The university professor and the celebrity, they became the it couple. Meanwhile, my body rotted in the lab, spat on by the world. Thinking of this, I took a deep breath and locked the classroom door from the inside. There was zero chance I was letting Tiffany in. This time, I was staying far away from that bitch. She wasn't going to use me again. But just then, a familiar voice shouted from outside. Sarah, you dare kick a student out of class? Do you even deserve to be a teacher? I looked through the window in the door. It was my disgusting fiancé, Julian. I let out a cold laugh. You're right, I don't deserve to be a teacher. You do. So, I'm handing Tiffany over to you. Julian looked at me in disbelief. Sarah, what nonsense are you spouting? Are students objects you can just toss around? Do you have any professional ethics? I shrugged, completely checking out. Nope. No ethics here. Before he could react, I dialed the registrar's office on speaker. Hi, could you facilitate a transfer? I need to move a student, Tiffany, from my section to Professor Julian's lab section immediately. Yes, Professor Julian says I lack professional ethics, and Tiffany says I'm heartless. I think she's a truant. All three parties are unhappy. We all agreed to the swap. What? You can switch her just by logging one teaching incident on my record? Great. Do it. Log it. Right now. Haha. Julian was shocked. Tiffany was shocked. The students in the room were shocked. They all thought I had lost my mind. But only I knew that compared to saving my life, a teaching incident was nothing. In this life, I just wanted to live well, and keep my name clean. I hung up and looked at Tiffany through the glass. All right, you're Professor Julian's student now. Go do your experiment with him. In the dead silence, Tiffany suddenly spoke up, refusing the offer. No, Professor Julian, I'd rather fail the semester than cause trouble for you. Julian immediately scolded her gently. Nonsense. You participate in training and variety shows. You are the pride of our school. How could you be trouble? I am definitely taking a student as excellent as you. Watching these two scheming against each other was hilarious. Fear of causing trouble, my ass. Tiffany had already swapped the concentrated acid for diluted acid in my lab supplies. If she switched teachers and lab rooms now, her entire script would be ruined. Let me give you a hand. Enough, stop arguing. The registrar already processed it. Take your equipment and get out. I grabbed the tray on Tiffany's assigned desk, including the bottle of concentrated sulfuric acid labeled with her name, and shoved the whole thing into her arms. Once she was holding it, I saw Tiffany visibly relax. Only Julian looked at me with disappointment. Sarah, we've been together for 3 years. I never thought you could be this cold-blooded. I threw up my hands, cutting him off. Yep. That's why there's no point in us being together anymore. Julian froze, stunned that the woman who had always been obedient to him would initiate a breakup. But I truly couldn't do it anymore. I would never forget how, in my past life, I begged him to talk to the university president for me. Instead, he stood in front of the president, accused me of lacking morals, broke off our engagement, and demanded the president send me to prison to show his own righteousness. His betrayal was the final straw that broke me. In this life, I didn't want anything to do with him. Julian's jaw tightened. He seemed furious. Finally, he spat out. Fine. We're done. Sarah, I'm reporting everything you did today to the president. Your indifference toward students is appalling. Hearing that, I couldn't help but laugh out loud. Yeah, Julian, I disappointed you. So you better not disappoint me. No one knew that the first thing I did after being reborn was to switch Tiffany's fake acid back to real concentrated sulfuric acid. She wants to act? She wants to strip? She wants to whitewash her reputation? I want to see how this play ends when 98% concentrated sulfuric acid actually splashes onto her body. God, I can't wait. After Julian and Tiffany left, I continued supervising the class. Halfway through, I noticed the students were distracted. Some were whispering and sneaking glances under their desks. I walked over and found a student watching a phone. Do you know this counts as cheating? Professor, I wasn't looking up answers. I'm just watching the Campus Queen's live stream. Tiffany's live stream? I confiscated the phone. On the screen, Tiffany was in what looked like an empty study room, wearing a white lab coat and holding a pipette. She looked intellectual and gentle. The comments were flooding in. So smart and beautiful. Tiffany could have gotten extra credit and skipped the exam, but she insisted on passing with her own skills. She's even streaming it so we can witness it. What a righteous, kind angel. I laughed. Righteous and kind? Please. She was kicked out of my class, so she had no audience. She couldn't orchestrate the being secretly filmed while strip scene without witnesses. So she decided to live stream it herself. Well, Tiffany, you chose this path. I want to see if your campus queen persona survives when you disfigure yourself with your own acid in front of thousands of viewers. Just as I expected, Tiffany, having missed nearly the entire semester, had no idea what she was doing. She messed up multiple steps. The comments shifted from praise to doubt. Did she just try to blow out the alcohol burner with her mouth? What's happening? Shouldn't she place the tube first? Guys, is she really a straight A student? Shut up upstairs. Tiffany is just busy with work and forgot. It's a top-tier chemistry program, let's see you try. Exactly. Look, Professor Julian isn't saying anything. What are you complaining about? Indeed, Julian wasn't correcting her. He was patiently comforting her. Don't be nervous. Everyone makes mistakes. Living up to his name, quite the actor. When Tiffany splashes that acid on herself, do you think you, the supervising teacher, will escape responsibility? Sure enough, Tiffany, holding the pipette, suddenly started uncontrollably sneezing, just like in my past life. Her hand accidentally knocked over the bottle of concentrated sulfuric acid. A cute, sharp gasp echoed through the live stream. Oh my God. I knew she was starting her performance. But a split second later, instead of the soft, damsel in distress cry she gave last time, a horrific, blood-curdling scream tore through the air. Help! Me! Tiffany's phone fell to the ground in the chaos. We could only hear rapid breathing and screams for help. A few seconds later, the stream cut out. Whoa, what happened? Did she get hit by the acid? Probably. If not, she wouldn't have screamed like that. Yikes, that sounded painful. My students started whispering. I clapped my hands to silence the room and told them to focus. When the exam ended, the wail of an ambulance siren drifted from the campus gate. From the window, I could just make out paramedics loading someone onto a stretcher. I sighed. A pity. A pity the livestream didn't capture Tiffany's face melting off. That night, Tiffany dominated the trending topics. Tiffany acid burns. Tiffany genius persona fail. Horrific acid disfigurement. The comments were a war zone. Fans were worried sick. Others mocked her. Hyped herself up as a genius beauty. Doesn't know basic safety, gets burned. Karma. Rumors flew everywhere. Photos of Tiffany's disfigured face started circulating. And then the explicit photos with various men dropped. The photos were exactly the same ones she had leaked herself in my previous life. That's when I smelled something fishy. Why does this feel like the old script? First the victim card, then the leaked nudes mixed with fake ones. Is she trying to whitewash again? But that doesn't make sense. Wasn't she burned by the acid? I couldn't figure it out. Before I could think it through, the university president called. He ripped into me immediately. How do you manage your students? A massive accident, and now the whole internet is trashing the school. Write a report and fix this immediately. I knew exactly what he was doing. Julian was the department's golden boy. The president didn't want to punish his star researcher, so he was scapegoating me. But I wasn't the pushover I used to be. I fired back. Tiffany is Professor Julian's student now. I completed the transfer procedure with him. The registrar knows about it. I have the audio recording. If you insist on protecting Julian and blaming this on me, then. This started with acid, right? Fine. I'll drink acid. Is my death enough to prove my innocence? I copied Tiffany's manipulative playbook word for word. The president panicked on the other end. Sarah, what are you saying? I'm not protecting Julian. His situation is extremely critical right now. Julian is critical? What happened to him? Before I could ask, the president hung up, clearly scrambling to handle the mess. Suddenly it clicked. There were two people in that lab, Tiffany and Julian. I rushed to the security office. I told the guard, an old friend of mine, that I lost my wallet and begged to check the tapes. He let me in. I fast-forwarded to Julian and Tiffany's lab session. On the screen, Tiffany held the pipette, just like on the stream. Then the accidental sneeze. Then she accidentally knocked over the acid bottle. The acid was about to hit Tiffany. But at that exact moment, Julian, acting the hero, shoved Tiffany out of the way. And the bottle of concentrated sulfuric acid poured directly onto Julian's crotch. That final helped me. On the stream really was Tiffany screaming. But not for herself. It was for Julian, who had collapsed on the floor in agony. Tiffany scrambled to kill the stream, sobbing. Professor Julian, why is there blood on your pants? This is impossible. How can this be? It was diluted acid. How did it become concentrated? Julian was sweating profusely from the pain. What diluted acid? Tiffany didn't dare admit she swapped the chemicals. She changed the subject. Professor, don't speak. I'm calling 911. She dialed frantically, completely missing the fact that she needed to flush the wound with water immediately. The longer she waited, the more damage the acid did to Julian's family jewels. After the call, she tried to get water from the sink. She pulled Julian's pants down and saw a bloody, mangled mess. Professor, what do I do? I'm scared to use water. The pressure might. It might wash everything away. I couldn't help but laugh. Julian wasn't exactly well endowed to begin with. Now corroded by acid? There was probably nothing left to see. But being a chemistry teacher, Julian forced out a command through the pain, telling her to use water. But Tiffany was terrified of killing him. She grabbed a bottle of strong alkali nearby. Professor, the tap water is too high pressure. You can't take it. I have an idea. Sulfuric acid is an acid. I'll use this alkali base. If I neutralize it, the pain will stop. Tiffany's brain-dead logic stunned me. It even stunned Julian, who was writhing on the floor. Didn't she know acid-base neutralization releases a massive amount of heat? It would turn a chemical burn into a thermal burn. Julian realized this. He tried to scoot backward, but he had no strength. He could only watch in horror as Tiffany poured the bottle of strong alkali right onto his crotch. Sizzle. Instantly, the already bloody area turned charred black. Tiffany's prediction came true. Julian really had no root left. Watching the tape, I finally understood why Tiffany was leaking her own nudes again. She wasn't burned at all. She was using the fake disfigurement photos to garner sympathy. Later, she would reveal her pristine face to prove the rumors were false, implying the nudes were fake AI generations too. She was sticking to the plan. If I guessed correctly, her next move would be the suicide attempt at the bridge. Keep dreaming. I got in my car and drove straight to the bridge. By evening, Mac and his crew were setting up lights for the live stream. A few hours later, night fell, and the show began. Thanks to Mac's marketing, the viewer count was astronomical. Everyone wanted to see the disfigured star. Guys, when she comes out, give a warning in the chat. Yeah, I don't want my kid to have nightmares. But when the camera turned on, Tiffany appeared in a plain white slip dress. Her skin was flawless, pale, and glowing under the lights. She looked like a fairy. The rumors of disfigurement shattered instantly. Wait, she's not burned? She never was. She just spilled acid. Who said she was disfigured? Tiffany has been through so much. People photoshopping scars on her, making fake nudes. Haters go to hell. Tiffany looked into the lens, Mac's lighting making her appear fragile and innocent. I was careless during the experiment. I admit that. I'm sorry for worrying everyone. But I never expected people to Photoshop disfigured photos of me. Then came the script from my past life. What's worse is people using AI to generate indecent photos of me with strangers. Everyone is throwing dirt on me. I have no way to explain. Only death can prove my innocence. She climbed onto the railing, preparing to jump just like last time. But when she looked down, her expression froze. Where was the boat? Even through the screen, I could read her lips as she frantically signaled Mac. The boat? Where is the rescue boat? I smiled. I intercepted it, of course. An hour ago, realizing she was reenacting the stunt, I found the swimming coach they hired. Mac offered a high price. I offered 10 times more. I told him it was just an influencer prank and no one was actually in danger. He took the money and motored away happily. The chat noticed the hesitation. Wait, isn't she jumping? Why did she stop? Fake. Another publicity stunt. Tiffany was on the verge of tears. She wanted to jump, but she couldn't swim. Without the boat, she would drown. Panicked, she looked around for Mac and spotted me in the crowd. My heart sank. Great, she's going to target me. Tiffany pointed a trembling finger at me and wailed. Professor Sarah, are you here to laugh at me? If it weren't for you, none of this would have happened. You kicked me out of class for no reason. You wouldn't let me take the exam. Only Professor Julian took pity on me. She looked like she was about to faint. Her fans exploded. What kind of teacher kicks a student out? I'm a student there. I can verify. Sarah literally told her to get out. It was super cold. Tiffany cried harder. See? My classmates can verify it. Even Professor Julian can testify for me. As soon as she said his name, a man in a wheelchair rolled out from the shadows near the bridge. Yes, I can testify. Tiffany turned, relieved to see Julian. She waited for him to back her up. But Julian spoke, his voice dripping with venom. I testify that student Tiffany Chung attended only one class all semester. She failed her duties as a student, stole laboratory keys, and stole dangerous chemical materials. Tiffany stared at Julian in shock. Professor, what are you saying? Julian ignored her. He wheeled himself over to my side. I raised an eyebrow at Tiffany, smiling. A few hours ago, I had visited Julian in the hospital. He was hiding under the covers, his groin wrapped in thick gauze. He accused me of coming to mock him. I just said calmly, Julian, I always knew you were cheating. Since you started taking calls in the other room. Since I found that lipstick in your car. Since you stopped calling me babe, and started calling me Sarah. I had a tiny hope you'd turn back. But you didn't. You were stupid enough to sleep with a student. Take a look at what she did. I threw the security footage at him. It showed Tiffany and Mac unlocking the lab at night, swapping the acid bottles, labeling the fake one with her name. She swapped the acid. She planned to spill it on herself to fake an accident and clean up her image. But she messed up and spilled it on you. Then I tossed the forensic reports on the bed. They were analyses of the AI nudes. Conclusion: no manipulation found. I sneered. Julian, you reap what you sow. I don't even want to know how many times she cheated on you. Julian stared at the evidence, trembling. Impossible. She's not like that. She's an innocent girl. I laughed. Well, you're the innocent one now. Since you don't have the equipment to do anything impure anymore. Before leaving, I told him. She's live streaming her suicide, tonight to clear her name. Looking at Julian in his hospital gown, I was satisfied. He came. Scientists are stubborn. A lunatic researcher like Julian? He can betray others, but if someone betrays him, he will burn the world down to get revenge. Julian pulled out a speaker and played a recording for the crowd and the live stream. Mac, I tricked Julian into giving me the key. Will this work? Guaranteed. You pretend to spill the acid. Someone strips you to save you. We post photos of you half naked. That explains away the old sex tapes. It was the audio from the night they broke into the lab. Hearing the word sex tapes, Julian's eyes turned red with madness. The chat went wild. Is that real? Is that my goddess's voice? Is it AI? Oh, shut up. Everything is AI to you people? She called him Julian. She stole the key. She's evil. Tiffany's face was paper white. Her secrets were out. She had no choice. She started crying again. Fine. No one believes me. I'll prove it with my death. She didn't hesitate this time. She jumped. Unfortunately, no one felt sorry for her anymore. Most were just watching the show, especially when she hit the water and instinctively screamed. Help. Mac. The boat. Where's the damn boat? It was ugly. Tiffany's plan imploded. She trended for 3 days straight, but for all the wrong reasons. After being fished out, she disappeared. The entertainment industry is brutal. Her show cut her loose. Brands sued her for breach of contract. Internet sleuths found her old videos on foreign sites. The birthmark on the actress's thigh matched Tiffany's exactly. There was no denying it. Meanwhile, Julian texted me every day. Sarah, I was wrong. You're the only one who loves me. Please take me back. I didn't reply. Until the latest one. Sarah, help me. Tiffany reported me to the president. She has our hotel receipts. She's claiming I coerced her. She wants to get me fired. Can you talk to the president? You just got that big grant. He likes you. He'll listen. I thought for a second and typed. Sure. When I entered the president's office, the room was packed with the disciplinary committee. Tiffany and Julian sat in the center. Tiffany was playing the victim again. President, Professor Julian forced me. He threatened my grades. He said he'd fail me if I didn't sleep with him. I only want one thing, fire this animal. Julian denied it frantically. President, I never dated her. I have a fiancé. Tiffany is lying. Sarah can prove it. He looked at me with pleading eyes. The president sighed. Sarah, you don't need to defend him. No, I interrupted. I'm here to say I have more evidence of their relationship. I pulled a thick stack of papers from my bag. Chat logs, receipts for condoms, grade change records, even underwear he kept from when he brought her to our house. Is this enough? I can get more. Julian froze. What are you doing? I knew exactly what I was doing. In my past life, didn't you do the same to me? I begged him to save me, to tell the truth about the acid. Instead, he called me unethical. I looked him in the eye and repeated his words from my past life. President, a teacher without ethics is a cancer. I am ending my engagement with him today. I support his termination. I won't shed a tear for a man like this. To me, student safety comes first. The president praised me for my integrity, just as he had praised Julian in the last timeline. Julian watched me, his eyes shifting from shock to utter despair. My revenge was complete. The results came quickly. Julian was fired and blacklisted from academia. Tiffany was ruined, erased from the industry. The next time I heard about them was on the news. Man murders woman, then commits suicide. Julian killed Tiffany. He blamed her for everything, his lost manhood, his lost career. A desperate man finds it easy to kill. After killing her, he swallowed poison just like I had. He rotted in a lab for days before being found. Before he died, I received one last text. Sarah, I had a dream. I dreamed that in a past life we hurt you. I can't make it up to you. I killed the bitch. Forgive me. If we get another life, can we fall in love again? Terrified he might have been reborn too, I typed back one final message. Go to hell. I don't date guys with no junk.